Alright everybody, welcome to the guide on how to run macOS on any PC in 2022. Now I'm recording this and I'm going to be showing you step by step on how to do this in the year 2022. So now we have VMware, right? I'm gonna update the description with what you need in order to be able to get VMware. You basically go get VMware from normally how you normally would, but I'm gonna provide the program in the description so you can go download it and install it. And also in the description there will be an activation key. You won't have to worry about, you'll be good. You can activate VMware. That key should be able to work forever. So there you go. So I'm gonna uninstall VMware. Oh, all right. Let's just say you don't have it installed, right? And you got to go get it. VMware. Just Google VMware download. Don't spell it incorrectly like I did. Let me just correct that. There we go. VMware Workstation Pro. And then you go download it. This is what the website looks like for now, and then this year. It may change. Now, I don't know. You download it. So we install it like we would normally. Now, what it's going to ask now is for you to activate it. Now, I would recommend activating it in order for everything to work correctly. You click License, and in the description, there will be a key that I will provide, and you paste it in like so. This is the key. I guess I'll give you a couple seconds to look at it. If you want to pause the video, you can pause the video and type it in manually. That's up to you. I'm going to continue. So once you paste it in, hit enter, and you're done. And I guess apparently it wants you to restart. From my experience, you don't have to restart. I've never had to restart before, I don't think, for it to work. So I guess search for VMware and open it. And now we're in VMware. And to prove that it is activated completely, you can go to Help, and this right here, and then About VMware Workstation. And you can see it has no expiration. It is licensed to you, and it is licensed. So you have it activated. You have it forever, as long as you want. Okay, so what you're going to have to do next is you're going to have to go and get Linux Lite from the official website. I'm going to provide that in the description. There should be a link that links to Linux Lite, or if you want to go search for it yourself, open up a new browser, whatever browser you use, doesn't matter really, and search Linux, Lite, enter. And the first result should be Linux Lite, easy to use, free Linux operating system. Click that. Now, what you're going to have to do is you click download, you skip the ad, unless you have an ad blocker. Scroll down a little bit until you see current releases. Now we're going to scroll down a little bit more. Under Linux Lite 6.0 64-bit, it'll say HTTP mirrors. When it says click here, click that. And it'll load. You can also donate, I was going to say, if you want to donate. It's up to you, but the donations will go towards the website, I'm sure, and towards funding the website, which would be nice. So if you live in the USA, if you're American like I am, you would want to go scroll down until you see Phoenix under USA and click linuxliteos.com. If you live in a different place, you live in a totally different country, that's okay. You can find your country underneath all these options, or if you don't fall underneath any of these, you can click worldwide, and that says OSDN. So I live in the US, so I'm going to click this one. Now scroll down, and we don't want to download the latest version, 6.0. I've had a little bit of issues with it. I've had a lot less issues in the most reliable one I could name is the 5.8 version. Click it, that folder that says 5.8, and click Linux Lite 5.8 64bit.iso. Or if you want to torrent it, you can click this one right here. That is the torrent version. Now you download it. However you download it, you can torrent it, or you can download the ISO straight from the website. And once it's done, I will help you on the next step. So it is done now, and that's good. So what we want to do is go back to VMware, click create a new virtual machine, then hit next. It should be on typical, which is recommended, and under installer disk image file, ISO, this is the file we just downloaded, the Linux Lite ISO file, .iso. So we click browse and we search for it until we find it. Double click it, and yes, it'll say could not detect, but you'll be able to get it to work. Now we click next, and then we hit Linux on the options here, and then we leave it on Ubuntu. We click next, and you can name this whatever you want. You can name it anything really. I'm gonna name it Linux Hackintosh, and you can scale how big you want Linux to be. Now, as a good rule of thumb, and this is going to be one of the more important parts of this whole entire thing, you want to know how big the main hard drive you're using is. If your main hard drive is 900 gigs, you want it to be about 600, so you can factor in installing macOS on top of Linux. So say for example, and the best way to be able to find how big your storage is open up File Explorer if you're on Windows, go to this PC, under C drive, the one that says 930, or it may say something different. I have a terabyte of space on my computer. Your C drive is your main hard drive. That's where all your main stuff is stored. This is the one you want to worry about. If it says 930 or a little bit over 930, then I would say you want to make your drive on, if basically what I'm saying is if your main C drive is 930 GB, you want your virtual machine to be 600 GB. So when you install Linux inside of Windows and then install macOS inside of Linux, like a layer cake with layers, you basically want to have enough space to install stuff on your Mac machine inside of Linux. And the best way I can describe this is, what you're wanting to do is you're wanting to have enough space in your virtual machine to store everything, is the best way I can describe this. So we want this to be 600 gigs because I have 900 gigs of space. You want whatever your C drive is, you want your virtual machine to be half of that. So for example, if mine's 900, I would recommend your virtual machine to be 600 gigabytes. So when it asks for specific disk space, if your C drive is 900 gigabytes, your virtual machine that you're seeing here in Workstation Pro should be 600 gigabytes. So let's just leave it at 635 gigabytes of space. That's how much Linux is going to be using, as well as macOS. If you decide to install macOS, I'm sure you're going to follow this guide if you're going to install macOS on a non-Apple system. So I recommend you change this to store virtual disk as single file if you're just on your main computer. If you're on your computer or whatever, I recommend changing it to this. And you can change all these settings if you go under customize hardware. You don't have to. That's up to you. You can make your virtual machine run better depending on how good your computer is. That's up to you personally. But you don't have to. Just make sure that you don't make the virtual machine more powerful than your actual computer is. If your computer has 6 cores and 8 threads, you have to do half of that, or else your virtual machine is going to overwork your computer if it's not that powerful. So finish. Now, I'm going to change some settings because I have a pretty powerful PC. I'm very proud of this PC. And you don't have to do this personally. Alright. So, let's just say you didn't change the settings, which is optional. You want to click power on this virtual machine, and then right here where it says this button right here, you'll be able to full screen it. And yes, it's not going to be able to full screen everything. You'll be able to fix that. So now we're in. We are now in Linux. So, first rule of business is we want to install Linux before we do anything. Because right now Linux is not installed to our virtual machine. And if you want to full screen it, you can press this right here, free stretch, once, and then that should be good. So, You can choose your language. It's whatever language you speak. I speak primarily English, so I'm going to click continue. US, next. You can just click continue. You don't have to install that. And it may take a second. Whoa. If it stretches on the screen like that, press free stretch again, and it should be able to fix it, by the way. Alright, so we're going to erase the entire virtual machine hard drive. It's a fake hard drive, and then we're going to install Linux to it. And then click continue. Then sit back. Oh, never mind. Hold on. Don't hold on to your butts, everyone. We're still going. Continue, and you can name this whatever you want. This will be your username for your computer. I'm going to name it to Cooley. Give it a password. And I personally like to set this to login automatically, because later on I'm going to show you how to, when this virtual machine turns on, automatically boot into macOS, so you don't have to do that much. So basically, whenever your virtual machine starts up, you'll be able to automatically boot into macOS if you want to. I'll show you that as an optional thing. So there you go. I meant to say click continue, and it'll install Linux. Alright, now it is done. The install is complete. You want to click restart now. It'll restart and boot right into Linux after you've installed it. There we go. You've now installed it. So I recommend when this pops up, you click the checkbox for show this dialog on startup, so it doesn't start on startup, and then close it. And we can get to my fun part, installing macOS. So I guess open your browser, which is Firefox, and then search for OS X minus KVM, and you want to find the one that says KHOLIA OS X KVM, this search result right here. I'll highlight it, click it. Now scroll down, and the first thing we want to do is copy this command right here, or you can highlight it and control, you can highlight it and then copy it if you want to, or you can go over here and click this button right here and it'll copy it. Now down here, what you want to do is you want to click this button right here that says XFCE terminal. And it'll open up a terminal. Now paste in the command and hit enter. And then you want to paste in your password. It'll give you a 1. If it gives you the number 1, you're good. So we can skip this command right here, and we can copy this command right here into our terminal. And then hit enter. It'll install all the stuff we need before we can get started on installing macOS. Okay, now once that really long taking command took a long time, we go back to the website and we copy the next command, which is this one, and then paste it into the terminal and hit enter, and then hit enter again. Now go back to the website, the guide, and we want to copy these commands right here and paste it into your terminal. And then once it says cd osx kvm, hit enter. Now go back to the guide and we want to copy this command into our terminal. Copy it and paste it into your terminal and hit enter. You're starting to see a trend here. Alright, now this command. Copy it, paste it into your terminal and hit enter. Now I recommend, if you wanted the latest version, Monterey, you hit the number 5 in your terminal and hit enter. If you want Big Sur, it's the number 4. Catalina, it's 3. Mojave, 2. And the lowest version you can go is High Sierra with the number 1 if you want High Sierra. I'm going to go with Monterey. So you would type 5 and hit enter, and it'll download it from the official place. Now, some of you may be wondering, Cooley, is this legal? My answer to you is yes. If you're using this for daily use and you are not reselling this, you are fine. If you were to resell a machine with this method being done, I'm not going to help you. So once that's done, go back to the guide, copy this command right here, and paste it into your terminal. And hit enter. And it'll convert the DMG file to an IMG file so you can run it in Linux. Now, we want to copy this command, paste it into your terminal, and you can leave this at 128 gigs if you want to. That'll be how big macOS will be, or you can change it. I recommend you change it to 620 if your computer is a 900 gigabyte computer. By checking your C drive, if it says 900 and whatever gigabytes, you can change it to 620. Basically, you want to use half of your computer storage to store all your stuff. And enter. Now, the last thing we want to do is copy this command into your terminal and hit enter. Now, QEMU should launch, and if you want to full screen it, you can press Control-Alt-F. Now you may be wondering, wait, why is it off center? Press Control-Alt-F and then Control-Alt-G on your keyboard. Go to View on this and press Zoom to fit. Now click into your virtual machine and press Control-Alt-F, and it'll be stretched, yes, but it'll work for now. We want to go to Disk Utility, click the top option, and it should be your 600 gigabyte file that you made. Click Erase, and you can name this to whatever you want. I'm going to name it to Cooley's Hackintosh. And we want to leave this on APFS under Format, and under Scheme we want to leave it as GUID Partition Map. We want to click Erase. And then done. Now we made our hard drive for our quote-unquote Mac system. We want to press the X here, click Reinstall macOS Monterey, or whatever version you're trying to install. Double click it, and we go through the installer. Now, once you've gotten through the installer, it's going to install it. Now, yes, it may say 2 hours, but usually it's going to be less than that. It'll take probably about maybe 20 to 30 minutes, depending on how good your computer is. My guess would be about 20 to 30 minutes. Go grab yourself a coffee, go grab yourself some tea, whatever your proclivities are. Grab something to drink, let it install. Now, what we want to do is we want to go through the rest of the installer. Choose your language. I live in the United States, so I'll go up a little bit. United States. Continue. Continue. This is if you want accessibility options. You have that option. I'm going to click Not Now. Continue. Not now. and you can sign in with your Apple ID. I'm not wanting to. Set up later, and then skip, and then we want to agree to the license agreement, and then click agree. And we can name this whatever we want. I'm gonna name it Cooley's Hackintosh. Put a password. There we go. And then click continue. Now, you can enable location services if you want to. I don't. So I'm going to click continue. Don't use. Now we're going to tell it where your location is. And then analytics, click continue. Set up later. Auto. If you want it to automatically change it to light or dark automatically. And there you have it. You're in macOS. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Thank you, everybody, for sticking through. So, yeah. That's it, everybody. Subscribe for more.